Hello, my name is Sylvia Fine. I'm the president of NAWMBA Seattle. NAWMBA was first founded in 1978 at Wharton School, Pennsylvania, and Seattle in 2011. Any comments or suggestions for today's video? Let us know and please do subscribe our channel. Although I have known George since this pandemic, but I feel I've known him for years. George received his master's degree in urban planning and building construction from University of Washington and has over 40 years work experience, including serving in business ownership, public outreach, project management, housing program planning and evaluation, and many more. He is a successful business owner and loves basketball. Say no more, let's get started with today's talk. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome everyone to today's meaningful conversation. My name is Sylvia Fine. I'm the president of NAWMBA Seattle. Today, my co-hosts are Lynette Garcia. Lynette, are you online?
Yes, am I?
Hello, Lynette. And my other co-host is Nari Weaver. Nari.
Hi.
Hello, say something, Nari.
Hi, how are you?
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
We have awesome programs lined up, so stay connected and please subscribe our channel and become our members. Back to today's talk, Black Business Matters. It is my greatest honor to have business owner and principal consultant George Frost as our guest. Hi, George.
Hi.
Hello, how are you?
Very well.
George is a person who I look up to. He's not only smart, super caring, but he's also like a data center with unlimited resources. So George, please let us know a little bit more about yourself with our audience.
Okay, well, besides I have a master's degree in urban planning, I have a master's theology degree. I'm a ordained minister. I consider myself a public affairs and a personal or private affairs consultant. And obviously I'm a founder, owner, and principal consultant of G.W. Frost and Associates. I spent over 40 years, maybe actually more than that, of my life working with communities to identify problems and solutions to community development problems and needs. And I don't mention it too often. I think I'm in the same company as President Obama. I was a community organizer while I was an undergraduate in college, working for the Century Motivation Program. And I'm a family man with wife, children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and extended family, friends, all walks of life, and ethnic origins. And I was born in Yakima, Washington.
Oh, you are local, Washingtonian.
Yes, I am.
Wow, awesome. And I believe you also founder of basketball.
Yes, I am. I played basketball, mostly at church league or gym rat basketball. I had to give it up and get hip replacement surgery, but the doctor said I can get back to it, but I'm not sure. I may go light or I do more walking now than a little bit of jogging.
That is good for you. Yes,
Yes.
definitely. So Nari, I believe you have a list of questions for George.
I have a list of questions for George.
Oh, no.
Nari's ready.
Yes, you better be ready, George. Okay, so as we live in a difficult era, do you think it's been harder to find a job or a contract as an African American nowadays, or things have been always difficult, let's say 30 years ago?
Actually, to be honest, I think 30 years ago it was a little easier. I think when I-200 passed in 1998, which was 30 years ago, was 1990. So I think it got a little bit more difficult. A lot of African American consultants, especially construction contractors, will say, and with statistics to back it up, that things have got been worse. So, and even when it comes to college admissions and some hiring as well, because of Initiative 200 basically was kind of puts restraints on what they call affirmative action. Now, I think people are more enlightened now to some degree, but again, Initiative 200 does reduce some restriction when it comes to affirmative action. So in that respect, I think things have got worse, and more difficult.
Yeah, that's an interesting point of view. I think,
and that's more in the public agency side. I would say more on the public side. Private sector, maybe there's been some improvement, a little bit.
Yeah, it is kind of a struggle. You know, I believe like everybody, you know, that could be a multi-race could be having these type of struggles too. You know, being awarded or, you know, trying to get the job. It's kind of it's extremely difficult. So we hear you. But good to know that 30 years ago it was a lot easier.
Is it because
I think a lot of people would testify to that. It was easier. And then I'm sure there's some people that things are going better for them right now, but I would say the statistics say, hey, consulting and construction contracting have not been as well in the state of Washington.
Knowing that you have a lot of experience, Mr. George, in this regard, what does Black businesses matter? You as an advisor can give us your perspective, and also how we as a community can come up with helping each other.
Okay, well, Black businesses matter. What it means to me, first of all, it's you know, there's a lot of attention to Black Lives Matter, which definitely should be, but I also think that Black businesses matter as well. And what I see, I want to see Black businesses and all small businesses survive and thrive, actually, not just survive, but thrive, just like big businesses. And so that's true. As a senior advisor, or if you want to call me a senior advisor, I'm young. I'm young, but I'm aged a little bit too. So I offer my expertise, my experience, and my encouragement to help businesses, particularly Black businesses, but also I give support to Latinx and Asian businesses just as well, and some immigrant businesses. So I believe entrepreneurship is the thing. It's a way to create wealth, and so as an advisor, I want to see that happen. I'm a consultant too, and I try to I get involved with projects that where we can increase the involvement of people that have been historically underrepresented or underserved. And I'm an advocate for social justice, environmental justice, diversity and inclusion. Did I answer all of the questions, or did I miss?
Almost. So, you know, like if entrepreneurs come to you and they have like this big spirit of being like, oh, I want to be an entrepreneur, and they think that's like super easy to be an entrepreneur, are you the type of guy that you're like, you go straight forward and you're like, hey, you know what? You may suffer from hunger, but you will make it in the end? Or do you sugarcoat stuff? I'm kind of curious.
I'm an encourager, but I'm also, I want people to face the brass tacks. First of all, do you even have the experience, or what gives you the make you think that you can be an entrepreneur? What makes you, do you have a product to sell or a service to give? And what is it? And how did you prepare for that? So, I asked some hard questions for them up front, but it's more to make them really think seriously about it. If they bring me something in writing, I may put a lot of red marks on it, but I'm still going to give them ultimately a pat on the back. But they may have to do some more homework. So.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
One, because I think minority businesses and Black businesses and other minority businesses, I've always thought this, not just in business, but whether you want to work or go to work for somebody, you have to always be better than. You can't be just good enough. You have to be better than.
Right. And what has been the biggest challenge in your life as a business owner?
Well, COVID-19, that's been the biggest challenge. This created a financial challenge. I signed my biggest contract of my last 8 years as a consultant just not too long ago, but then it's delayed for about 2 or 3 more months. And so, and then I have some on-call contracts and nothing's happening. And I have another contract. They said it was going to start in April. Then they said in June. And now it's supposed to start any day now, but it hasn't happened yet. And I know a lot of this is because of the coronavirus. And but so that's a challenge to remain solvent financially while you're dealing with the contract delays. So that's the biggest challenge.
Right. And have you had to reinvent yourself and some other, or?
I think I've considered looking at different things. I as a consultant, I do government agencies or one of the clients or other, I team up with other consultants that work on government projects, but also I've done work with private property owners. And so I've considered some of that, but I think that still everybody's having a challenge with the coronavirus, particularly if it requires some engagement, face-to-face kind of engagement. So I think that's made it difficult. But I have explored what other opportunities and maybe even thought about creating another business that with some other partners that want to do some import business or something else. So again, but that's difficult too, especially because this one particular business that at least I've talked to someone about, it would have to be doing some engagement with probably even China or something, and that getting along too well right now. So, yeah.
So you see the challenges on your side, it's something that inspire you or just challenge you as itself to do better and create something different? You like challenges per se?
Oh, I like challenges, and then plus I think what keeps me going, my faith keeps me going. My faith, so it makes me, I'm open. I like challenges. I believe you never give up. You keep going, you keep trying. As a consultant, I just keep going. I keep trying and never give up. Even when even on consulting contracts, you go and sometimes you're number 2 and they tell you you're lost by a few points. That's disheartening sometimes, but you have to keep going. You just said you have to think about how can I get better the next time. Now, sometimes I think some of their answers were really phony, but that's okay. I just try to make sure I have an answer the next time. So I just keep going. I have faith. I believe I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. What I do is part of my life. Help people. I want to make the world a better place. So my consulting, my business, and even ministry, they're all interwoven together in terms of achieving that. And so I can't give up on it.
So today's topic is about Black businesses matter and how you see businesses now during this pandemic. A lot of people are suffering because because just no business. Like you said, you have to overcome. You have to keep going. What other advices can you give our audience today?
Well, one thing that helped me, I did get a PPP loan. I got an EID grant. And, you know, it's a lot of paperwork, but it was worth doing. Now, obviously, you know, I could use some more help. I wish that they had another, some more assistance available now, but I would, if anybody, if there's any opportunities for loans or grants or anything, you look for those things. I look for, if there are even grants for small businesses or minority businesses as well. And more recently, I even applied for one, so I hope to hear back on August 21st. So I say, whatever you look for kind of opportunities, just to keep going. Sometimes family and other friends can be a source of financing, but everybody's kind of hurting right now.
Yeah.
But again, I think it's, I thank God I've just been able to survive this long anyhow. And I just got someone contacted me about helping them with some grant writing. So they're from this group up north, and they don't have very much money, but they may have a little bit of money for me to help them do some grant writing. So that might be something to help pay a bill while I'm still waiting for the larger contract to take place. And I have another contract that, you know, is on the horizon. That's probably even bigger than the other one, at least in terms of number of years, that kind of thing. But I'm not sure if that's going to happen in 2 weeks or 1 month or what yet. So, but at least it's out there, and I just try to hang in there until then. And so that's what I do.
Keep the hope.
And I would suggest to everybody else, don't give up. Yeah, like I like to say this. I heard Nancy Pelosi say something about this, or somebody say something about faith. A person's faith gives them hope. My faith gives me hope, and it gives me love. That means you got some. It gives me endurance. Then I can put up with people. Then I can put up with circumstances too, and give me patience in the midst of circumstances, and actually have an overcomer's attitude. I have I'm not a victim. Even with racism around, I'm not a victim. I'm a victorious person. And I believe that we can overcome no matter what the circumstances are. Anything else?
Yeah, no, and and all of us as community, we're supposed to be united. And I think, you know, it's a good lesson that nature, I think, has given us that, you know, it doesn't matter what position we were in the beginning. Now we're all the same, basically. So, you know, it's a good eye opener, that's for sure. And it made us more humble. And so, you know, what would be like what would be your advice, you know, like how you saw yourself, you know, before COVID, how you see yourself now that you're in COVID, how you see yourself in the future after COVID, you know, like what did you learn? What advice you can give to the community that maybe they're on your shoes? Maybe, you know, maybe they're not, maybe they're in some other circumstance, or maybe they haven't touched ground, you know, like there's so many things that could be happening, in so many different situations that, you know, I think there's a lot to give an advice of how we were, how we are, and how we will be.
Well, one, I think it is humbling, as you say. I think really an individual has to look at we're a community. We belong to each other, and so there's a sense of trying to help each other out. I think if I help somebody else out, it ultimately helps me, even if it's a matter of gratification or satisfaction, and that in itself is a strength, and it helps keep you going. I think that I have learned that before coronavirus, I think, like I said, all of a sudden this year, after 8 years, I've been in consulting business before, but I'd worked for the city of Seattle in between times, and I retired and started my consulting business, G.W. Foster Associates, these last 8.5 years. Well, I finally reached a point where, while I have on-call contracts and I have some larger contracts pending, and now I've got, I've signed the contract on one of them and another one hopefully soon. But then all of a sudden coronavirus came, and then so that was humbling, that all of a sudden now it's delayed gratification, I guess. But I think I kind of learned through life's lessons all along, and part of that comes from my faith too. So I've learned to kind of be able to adjust and deal with difficulties when they come. Some of it's your attitude. It's really, attitude is really it. A lot of it's attitude. And sometimes I had to work on my attitude too. So, but I've learned I can survive. And if I have to go and for those people that, whether they believe in prayer or not, it works for me. I need to go and pray and meditate and get quiet and shut up. And then I get some encouragement, and read a good book or something, and I get some encouragement to keep going. And so that, whatever is going to help people, to help them get going, encourage somebody else. And a lot of times you encourage somebody else, even when you don't feel gung-ho, you'll find that you'll get some strength even from that. And one thing I wrote an article about Black businesses matter too, because I saw how Black Lives Movement was going, and there has been more attention now. So I think for Black businesses, but also for other businesses of color, I think people are paying more attention now. I've read some articles in the newspaper more recently, even about Native Americans. People are paying more attention to people of color, Latinx as well, or Latino or Latina. But people are paying more attention to, in the coronavirus. One thing it's done, it's shown what it puts us all in the boat, because whether you're privileged or not, virus does affect all of us. But it also has shown some inequities as well. And it came along right during the Black Lives Movement, getting some attention now. But I wrote this article because I thought that businesses, Black businesses particularly, because when I looked at the statistics, I worked for the city, I saw some of the statistics, and where there was a struggle with Black businesses, whether they were consulting or construction contracting. And again, part of that might be I-200 as well. But I also saw where I thought there were times that people white businesses just kept it in the house, so to speak, too. And there wasn't enough attention or even effort made to have more diversity and inclusion. So I wrote an article basically that said businesses matter, and all businesses need cash, they need connections, and they need consideration. And my thing is that where there is some opportunity, those businesses, those people that have power to hire and contract with businesses, minority businesses, go out of their way to hire minority businesses, go out of their way to hire Black businesses. Don't just give lip service to it because, Black Lives Matter. A lot of people are into that. Oh yeah, right on, Black Lives Matter. They march, but let's put some make it happen thing to it too, not just talk it, not march it. I mean, marching is okay, it brings awareness, but we got to do more than just march. Got to do more than just say, then talk about it. We got to take some real action. But it takes people dedicated, people in power, people that have the position where they can hire and they can contract. Go out of your way to hire minority businesses, to hire Black businesses. Go out of your way. They are out there. Now, I do say this too, for minority businesses, for Black businesses, do whatever it takes to make yourself qualified and even more qualified. Don't just look, just because I'm a Black business, somebody's going to give me an opportunity. Do whatever it takes to get yourself qualified, that much more. Get the training, all those other things. And again, I believe we have to work harder at being, we have to be more qualified. Usually, unfortunately, that's the case. And that's what we have to do. Just make ourselves an asset and that they can't refuse.
George, do you think we can share this article with our audience?
Yes, you can. Yes, please do. I have it posted on LinkedIn and Table 100 right now as well, but you can share that with your audience. So please do. You have a copy of it, I think.
Okay, awesome. So
Okay.
I will share this on our social media and newsletter. So all our fans and subscribers will get a copy of it. And this is an awesome article. I think everybody is going to benefit totally.
Okay. Well, like I said, I had a 400 word restriction, but I think if people go beyond, it's the action. That's what we want to take now, not just talking, take action as much as we can in this environment.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
I totally agree with you. And this is also the reason why we're having this talk. So I think I shared with you earlier, a lot of people, maybe it's for the first time to get to know maybe a different community, what kind of struggles they're facing, and if they can be part of it. So this is wonderful. Nari, I believe you have one more questions or a few more questions.
Well, one last question. Before we go, would be, you already gave us an advice about, how to help each other as community. Also, in community in general. But I think I would ask, like the true, since you brought it up about the BLM, movement, the true importance of making that word be, and allow this to be like a peaceful movement. I think that would be, like you as part of that community, right? Like give like that word of empowerment, for people to be civil, get their word out in a very respectful way. How would you do that?
Well, I think I'm not the only one. I think there are people already trying to speak to that, because I think, to be honest, part of the problem is some of the people that say they embrace the Black Lives Movement, they're the ones creating problems, and it's not the Black Lives Movement themselves. It's not their leaders, but others have joined, but then they are not they're not respecting the leadership that's there. And so they're creating more problems, rioting and burning down businesses and things like that, that do not help the cause. There are a lot of people they don't want a Black Lives Movement to be successful at all. And so they'll use an excuse. They know better. As far as I'm concerned, a lot of people know better, but there are people that don't. They'll hear other people talk about all the Black Lives Movement doing is being destructive. Well, that's not true. It's being instructive and it's being constructive, but there are people that will try to distract. There's some implants for people that definitely want to affect the business, hurt the movement as it is anyway. But I think if the larger community understands that and know that don't get distracted by those distractors. Black lives do matter. Black businesses do matter. All businesses do matter. All people matter. So often, people of color have been left out, and Black businesses and Black people, and in a lot of cases, have been left out of a lot of situations, a lot of benefit. They've been the least of these, our brothers. And so community is important. If your arm hurts, your body hurts. In the community, if you have one part of that community hurting, then that means the community is not totally whole. You heal the part that's hurting, you heal the whole body.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you, George.
Okay, you're welcome.
So Lynette, I believe you have some more things to share.
Yes, and we're going to see our quote from Mr. George that he shared with us about Black businesses matter. And he says that go beyond thought and demonstrate sympathy or selfness to the cause, and make it to the point, give utmost importance to taking actions that will promote significant racial equity, social justice, environmental, and most important, they're going just to bring diversity and inclusion to everything. Also, if you want to connect with George Frost, is a great way to just go into his LinkedIn, which you see it right here, just Frost 8AB67B55, or you just can contact gwfrost.com, which is his company. Thank you, George, for being with us today, just talking about diversity and inclusion in Black Businesses Matter. And we want to thank you, everyone, for being with us. Remember, we have meaningful conversation, and in this topic about diversity and inclusion, next 25th, we have interview with Fat Ping about what, Miss Sylvia?
It's about leadership in music, how music transformed her as an engineer and as a diverse background, as an Asian woman, and coming to United States, how she, through music, how she convert, then move to Seattle. So this is about Fan Ping. Fan Ping is a senior engineer at Amazon.
Excellent. We cannot wait just to listen another great story and meaningful conversations. And the 27th, in the same week, on Thursday, we have Mr. Dariush Kalegi, that he will be talking about what?
It's about leadership as well in these difficult times, how we can overcome. And he's also a staff member at the University of Washington, Bellevue, and Evergreen College.
Awesome. So we have a great lineup, just starting with Mr. Frost. Thank you again. And then we are so thankful that you guys connect with us once again in meaningful conversations at NAWMBA Seattle. Discover and know more. Back
Thank
to you,
everyone. Thank you so much for your participation, and thank you for our special guest, George Frost. It was too short time. We would like to find out more with George because, like I said, he's like a data center full of resources, and we want to find out more from George. So George, maybe we'll see you next month or the month after?
Oh, yes, I'm available.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Well, by the way, if somebody wants to reach me also, they can email me at george@gwfrost.com as well.
Yes. So, George, can you repeat it one more time?
george@gwfrost.com.
Okay, you got it, everyone? So don't forget, George is awesome, awesome, I would say, role model to me. And yeah, whom I look up to. And thank you again, everyone, for your participation. And stay tuned for our next week's program with Fan Ping and DK. Thank you so much, everyone. And stay connected and stay safe.